Good evening, everyone.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Uh man. So I'm about to say something.
Oh man.
Um we're 2 days out from the slap gate. The slap gate. So did you catch it?
No, I didn't. Of course, I don't look at the Oscars, but
Okay.
my daughter brought it to my attention. She thought it was fake. She's like, she
Mm,
said, "Look at this. I don't think this is real."
mhm.
When I saw it, I was like, "Nah, that's real, man." Let me. Then I started searching, and then it was popping up everywhere. When I tell you, everybody been talking about that,
Mhm.
regardless of what kind of content you look at, whether it's TV, radio, whatever.
Mhm.
That's been the number one topic. So I did not see it, but
Okay.
what I will say is this: it's unfortunate. I'll leave it like
Hey,
that.
give me a take on it cuz
Well, I guess I'm trying to figure out, when did someone's words give you the right to put hands on them,
mhm,
regardless of how inflammatory, or if you don't like them. But I know it's something deeper than that.
mhm,
It wasn't. I don't think. I think that was just the straw that broke the camel's back
mhm.
for Mr. Smith. So I think it was a lot more there, and that was just an opportunity to kind of release a little anger. Ain't nothing like going to slap them when you're mad, or just release a little frustration. Some people go to the gun range
Mhm.
and do stuff like that, but so
Some people go to boxing class,
go
kickboxing
right,
classes,
right,
you know.
right.
Yeah.
Get rid of that energy, and he probably need to, maybe he need to look into. I'm sure he do a lot of stuff already, so you might need to add one more hobby to it. And then just the stage it was on.
Mhm.
Uh, it's just not a good look. Um, Chris Chris Rock did. He kept his composure pretty well. I think he thought it was a joke the entire time until he
Mhm.
started yelling. Even after the slap, I still don't think he took it serious
Yeah.
until he got back to his seat and started yelling. Then he was like, "Oh, this is for real." He,
Mhm.
you ever been in a fight and didn't know you was in a fight?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That,
Yeah, yeah.
that's happened to me before, and I learned from that situation.
Take
Okay,
everything real.
there you
Yep.
go. Take
Mhm.
everything seriously. But yeah, you're like, "Oh, damn, I'm in a fight." Didn't
Mhm.
even realize it. And I learned it at a very young age. So so from that point on, nobody can come up to me like that, and then I not take it seriously. So.
Yeah, me and my good friend, my best friend, we got in a fight like that.
Mhm.
I'm clowning him about something that I always clowned him about,
Right.
and he was going through something with his girl that night, and we was
Oh,
out in the
so
streets.
it's a Will Smith type.
Yeah, pretty
There was some
much.
ego involved.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, what I was doing on the sideline, y'all, just so y'all could know, I was pulling it up. So because I want to dissect something real quick. Um yeah, so like I said, I was my own self. I'm always clowning,
Right,
clowning folk.
right.
That's
That's
what I
me.
do.
Yeah,
That's
he
what
a
I do.
comedian. That's what he
Yeah,
do. But
that's what I do. So
mhm.
and that's what he do. So my homeboy he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy, and he was trying to get this girl, because he was gonna spend the night. Her mom was out of town or something. He was gonna
Okay,
spend the night.
yeah.
We was out partying. I'm like, look at this nigga. He checking his phone. And it was yeah. Well, he had a cell phone at the time. Yeah. He's checking his phone. Look at him. He can. Oh, come on, nigga. We having fun. We out here partying. Look at. He's still checking his phone. Look at it. This nigga. So we get walked to the car, and and some girls passing by. I started talking to him. So he's like, hey, I'm talking to like, man, I can't even sit here talk to this nigga checking his phone. We got to go bring him by his girl. And I think I said one too many things.
One too many niggas.
One too many. This nigga checking his phone.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just it was just one lick. He hit me one time, and I'm like, I wouldn't keep the slap. I wouldn't,
Right, right.
and that was it. I'm like, all right, return fire. We in the middle of the street on Canal Street. We on Canal Street. If anybody know
Yeah.
about New Orleans, we on Canal Street.
And see, and it's funny you bring that situation up, because I think that was the same kind of energy that
Mm,
was here. It
mm,
might have been another level, but pretty
mm,
much he felt attacked at some point, or
mm,
his ego got bruised a little
mm,
bit. And then you bring women into the. It's always when you bring the women
mm. Yeah,
into the
it gets
equation,
amped up.
and then that's when and that's just the nature of
Mm,
men. That's our biology.
mm,
We feel like we being belittled in front of a
mm,
woman. That's hey, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. So, well, yeah, I was. I don't think Chris Rock knew he was in the fight yet until
No, he didn't know. Wow. He didn't,
right,
wow.
right.
No, but see that. So the whole thing with that too, and I'm gonna play the video, and then we're gonna come back and talk about it. Because I want you to read the body language, both from him from the clip. Just look at him,
Okay.
the initial after the joke. Look at her,
hmm
Jada after the
Now I
joke.
saw her body language.
You saw her body language,
hmm
and zero into her really because at some point, well, we'll talk about it after. I'm gonna run that. All right.
All right, yeah. Let's check this out. Let's see it for the millionth time because I don't seen this.
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? that was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Uh-oh. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me. Wow, dude. It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was the greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Okay, so hold on one second. So did you see in the beginning like he was not offended in the beginning?
No,
He laughed.
no. He looked like he was. I mean, and whether it was one of those just he's a comedian, he's telling joke, I'm gonna laugh, just to go along. He knew the camera would be on. He right up front there. But he had already been because I saw like a couple of seconds before that he had been telling jokes, so he was everybody was laughing.
Mhm.
He told that one he was still oh yeah he was laughing, and then his wife kind of straightened up and was like, no, this motherfucker, no he didn't.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
So hey man, like I said, I don't think he realized he was in battle. That's
Yeah.
the worst kind to be in.
Yeah.
So always be ready.
So I think from our body language, from my God, and I'm gonna show it again just up to our body language. From my God, people's like, oh, she was hurt by that. I didn't get hurt from her body language.
No,
I got
no, he did. How
motherfucker.
dare you?
Yeah, motherfucker. You like a bald head joke, really? And that's what I got from her body language.
I didn't see like you say hurt or feeling like she's being belittled or looked down upon. And then people were talking about all her different medical conditions or whatever, but I don't everybody doesn't pay attention to celebrities like that. So he may not have even known or whatever. I have no idea, but I didn't know.
But I'm just saying, I don't know, because everybody, I like a lot of people projected on her, like, oh, she has this, she was hurt, and he saw her pain. I didn't see pain in her body language, nor her facial expression.
It's amazing how people can tell you the whole story from thousands of miles away, looking at a TV. They have no idea what's going on in that relationship between them. Only what they share with the public.
Yeah.
That's all they know. But people will fill in the blanks, and that's a problem in the world today.
Let's look at the body language one more time. So let's see if we could see pain, because I didn't see pain, and it's not the
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? that was a nice one. Okay.
okay. If you've seen, she rolled her eyes and looked to the side, like really, motherfucker.
Like you Chris Rock, you can't even come at me.
Yeah,
kind of like
you're better than that. You could have came up with a joke than that, basically.
Hey, but it's several narratives out there that can tell you exactly what she was thinking.
Like I said, I call it Slapgate because some people thought it was fake. It was the whole thing.
My daughter did.
A whole subset of people like, oh, that was fake. They staged that to sell out Chris Rock's whatever. They, like I said, I didn't get pain. I didn't get hurt in her facial expression or her body language. I got really, motherfucker. This is what you're gonna do.
Maybe offended, but not in a hurtful way. More of a do better. It wasn't. How dare you talk about me, Chris Rock? But I didn't. I didn't see pain at all. I didn't see like devastation. So that's my take on it. But
yeah.
What What you think?
Well, I just wanted to, and because this is, this first time we've been on since that. I just wanted to say something about that shit because everybody talking about
Yeah,
that. Like I say, it's Slapgate.
we had to put our 2 cents in
Yeah,
that.
just put our 2 cents. That's it. But that's not here. That's the last I'm gonna give the Smith family.
Yeah, they're getting all the love.
Yeah,
right now.
that's the last I'm talking about them tonight. I'm done with it. I didn't see what everybody else saw.
I didn't either.
But like you said, the other part is that before, yeah, I'm gonna give it 2 more minutes. The other part of it is that he was protecting black women.
Oh,
His black wife. No, he wasn't. Stop that shit. He wasn't. That was an ego thing.
yeah.
It was an ego thing. It had nothing to do with Jada. She
Yeah.
just happened to be. It happened to be about her. It was something about ego.
Yeah.
No. And the other part of it, I would want a man to do that for me. I would want my husband to do that. So you want your husband to commit a crime on TV,
Right.
because he committed a crime.
Yeah.
He slapped her. No, he committed a crime. It was assault. He assaulted somebody.
Had I done that, I would be in
jail.
right
Yes.
now.
Be in jail. Your livelihood would be in jeopardy.
Right. Because I can't work, so I can't feed my family.
You probably get sued.
I'm sure Chris would be like, yeah, get whatever, get that little change out of his pocket, whatever he got in there, going to take that. Yeah. I mean, you see in like you said, I don't think people are putting it in the proper context. And I still want to know when did words turn to, oh, I get to go, I don't like what you said, so I'm gonna put my hands on you. Which now, let's be honest, that's how a lot of fights happen. But why are we? That's to me, that's so
juvenile. It's juvenile.
Subhuman. I don't think it's juvenile. It's subhuman, because I see little kids say stuff to each other all the time, and they never put their hands on them. But it's come on, man, really? You can't. It's just words.
It's words. Yeah,
it's words. Now you can choose to be upset by them, or you can choose to let them roll off your back. But it's just words, man.
Okay, I'm gonna give it another minute.
Okay,
another minute, because I got a question.
Let me stick this here right quick. But with that, just words, he just jeopardized. That's gonna be a everlasting thing for him after the great career he's put together. Whether you like him or not, he's done phenomenal things in music, TV, and movies. So
production, producing. Yeah.
I mean, he's come, but that's going to be the thing that's going to stick with him. That everybody would always remember.
Once he finally won an Oscar, this
is what he get.
Nah.
And so now, and he might even get to keep it, from what I understand, because they're doing an investigation. I don't know what they need to investigate. I mean,
they should. Yeah, he's bad based on his merit. It should have nothing to do with that.
They say he has a code of conduct. Well, if they do that, then they're gonna have to go back and take a lot of Oscars from a lot of people, because this,
a sexual assault people, and whatever. But okay, so my question.
Okay.
Eric, in that situation with his wife, what would you have done?
I mean, because anybody who knows me, I tell them, I cannot be offended. Now, if my wife came to me and was like, I'm hurt, that was a terrible joke, I'm like, okay, I'd talk to him about it. I would talk to him after the fact if she came to me. But if I've been in a comedy show and the comedians start cracking on people,
start from one side,
and so that's no different than, you don't like the joke, so you go up there and you smack the comedian. First of all, I probably won't even get to the stage.
No, you wouldn't. Yeah.
But they're gonna run me up out of there, and they're gonna press charges, and I'll be banned from that place. Probably never gonna come back. So I mean, and even then, like say in a comedy show, and she says that, if she with me, she already know that I don't even, whatever, because it's really your feelings hurt because a comedian made a joke about you. Come on, we better than that. But she cut from a different cloth, so she wouldn't even let that even bother like that. But like you said, in that situation, if she leaned over and was like, he hurt my feelings or whatever, I would tell her, okay, well, because I'm sure they know each other before now.
Oh yeah,
I'll talk to him about it, but I wouldn't made a public scene about that. There's no reason to. That's something that's since we're civil people, you have a civilized conversation about it and move on. But it's a comedian making a joke. It wasn't even a good joke.
It was bad. Yeah, it was a bad joke.
Right.
Okay.
What would you do?
Oh, well, I thought about that, and once again, he laughed at first. So being that I laughed at something, I would have carried that on, because once again, I'm in a certain I'm in public. This is international TV. I would have got up, I would have went to her, and I would have grabbed her by her head and kissed on her head. I
Just
like
on her
this
little
bald
bald
head.
head.
Yeah, I like this bald head motherfucker.
Right, you
Whatever. And then
play into it.
yeah, play into it. Make sure my wife is okay. I got right with my wife, and then backstage, whenever I see, look, motherfucker, that shit wasn't even like
Right. You
you
know she
offended.
going through some shit.
Yeah,
Man.
you know she got that pisha, motherfucker.
But that's only if she told me that because if I was laughing and I thought the shit was funny too.
No, he does funny. Yeah,
So that only if she was like, that I felt some kind of way about it.
but I think that the thought of in his mind was that I'm already taking L's because I'm looking at it as being soft. Oh my, his whole life he has had a soft image his whole life.
Yes.
Soft with the capital T, like with
Right.
Eddie Murphy
Eddie
with
Murphy
capital T, capital T. So I think that played a part in his action.
I did. Absolutely. That was all ego right there, sir.
So,
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I
they
agree.
need to stop that protect black women stuff because I don't think
That's not what he was doing because she was not in danger.
Yeah, no,
of
yeah,
anything.
yeah. Anyway, that's enough for it. So the title of this, I'm tired of the Smiths. I'm tired of them. Anyway, the title is "These Foes Ain't Loyal," right? So I'm gonna have to break it down with foes. I could have said 304, but I'm not gonna put that in all the 304s.
Okay.
304s, the algorithm of algorithm friendly term for a garden tool.
Right.
Okay, so I came up with my own. So fours is it's breaking down something. I'm not gonna put on all the 304s because they ain't got all this. We have some fine upstanding. Anyway,
Okay.
so it's female omnipotent archetype. And I'm gonna explain what that is.
Yeah, man.
So what we're talking about today is we're back on the 1960s. Something. We're still Sankofa. We're still looking back. The female omnipotent archetype is the woman that is more important than the community. More important than her man. More important. She's important. She's deified. Um Looking back to the 60s, we like I said, I wasn't gonna do the feminist movement, but now I mean you can't take one thing out and skip over it and go to the next. You can't do that. So
it had so much impact on
yeah.
this. It's for the context. So yeah, absolutely.
So like the female omnipotent archetype was that was going on at the time. We want to be from underneath our men. You know, we don't need our men. They were whispering in their ear, girl, aren't you tired of, aren't you tired of, your men telling you what to do, and you have autonomy of yourself, and blah blah this, blah blah that. Like you caught, and I wanted to put a clip of the show that I did with the other young ladies, right? When I mentioned that, right, about the feminism movement. They all understood that. I didn't have no pushback on that because they understood the ramifications of, dealing with the enemy,
Right.
which at that point, 60s, that was our enemy. White folks was our enemy back in the 60s. We had just Martin Luther King, I had a dream. We just had that. Integration, we just had that. We just signed in 64, we had just signed the Equality Act. So we had all that going on. We were not fully integrated yet.
Right.
Then the black woman sided with the white woman to go against the black community. And that's where I mean by not being loyal. And I had to go back. I had to go to the lexicon under, loyalty.
You breaking out all the SAT words.
Oh yeah, I've been.
Get my dictionary.
Oh, it was worse last week. Hey, we did a show last week. It was worse. I had more words. So, yeah. So loyalty. I had to look it up. I had to go into it, and when you look at it, some people put loyalty synonymous with faithful, being faithful. But when you go back, when you go back to the original meanings of it, it has nothing to do with faithful. Faithful is something that you do based on an action of somebody else in a relationship, based on because I promised to be whatever to you. I promised to be faithful to you, and I gave you my word to do whatever. I'm being faithful to my word. That's what faithful is. Now, if we were talking about men right now, we would talk about faithful. Infidelity. We'll talk about relationships. We'll talk about faithful. We talk about men. Men get that charge for, quote unquote, being unfaithful more than women. We can put that charge on that. But not right now we're talking about loyalty. And there's even a song, these ain't loyal,
Right.
so there's a song like that. But in this instant, our community, right? What was being loyal to our community? What did that mean back then? What did it look like back then? Us working together. We accomplished so much up until that point where, hey, we're good. We don't need each other. We're good. We got this welfare. The white women, we got white women with us.
Got these rights. Yeah,
We got these white women with us, marching with us.
Yeah.
Real women hear us roar.
You know what? I never knew what all that was about.
Mhm.
Because I just took stuff at surface
Mhm.
value, and I used to hear that song, and I was
Mhm.
just like, "That's an interesting song," but okay. You know, women roar now. But, I'm serious.
They roar.
I'm serious. I just took it because I never, went in depth. I didn't know what the whole movement was because I was a young man when, not even a man, I was a kid, when all that was going on. So, but yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's the thing. When you talk to women today, they will. Let me not say that. No, they okay. So family today looks different. Family, we can say that. Family today, when you talk to people today, whether it's women, whatever, society, they look at family right now as being women and child.
Mhm.
Majority of family is woman and child. The man has no place in that family for majority of people. As we know, 28% marriage rate. Women are married maybe 27, 28%. So majority of our community,
Black women. Okay. Yep. Yep.
our community,
Mhm.
woman and child is considered a family.
Right.
So back then, pre-feminism, pre that whole movement where we joined them, early 1960s, it was considered man, woman, and child. That was our community. That was our strength.
Oh, yeah.
Not only as a community, but as a man, that was our strength as a man, because we would die to protect what's ours. So, the enemy wanted to break down the black family. It was known. It was already known. Nixon, Hoover. It was known that they wanted to break down the black family. So, being loyal to the family would be, okay, well, I'm going to stick out with my man because this is good for the family.
Right.
Yeah, we struggle as everybody does,
Mhm.
right? But this is good for the family. So, that's what I think loyalty would look like. Right now, we have a community of single people for most part.
Yeah.
Everybody's worried about themselves. Um, what's good for me? I'm living my best life, my truth.
And
My.
I like the way you put that because if you look at it, I don't want to hold that thought.
Good.
But if you look at it, that's exactly what's going on. It's a very selfish outlook on life. It's like as though it's being portrayed as though that they weren't allowed to do. When I say them, I'm speaking about women
Mhm.
in general to do certain things. And I guess in some instances they weren't or they were overlooked.
Mhm.
But that was just the way the society was built. But now to to bring it back or to get on that level, now you've completely erased everybody else just to make it a singular thing. For me, and I don't think it was ever about me. It was about building that family, building that foundation. I can't say that for everybody. I don't know, but I'm just my opinion of it. But go ahead. I didn't want
Yeah,
to break your
I
thought.
mean, and you, so that's your opinion, but your opinion is based on what was going on at the time.
Right.
What was going on at the time that even though, and okay, we're gonna talk about the argument that yeah, men were abusing, their power, I guess, or men were abusing women. That's always happened. That
Yeah.
just didn't happen in the 60s. That's always happened once, in history. I'm saying history,
Yeah, that's from the
historically.
beginning of time.
From the beginning of time, that's always happened.
And it wasn't so much they were abusing them. Well, like
No,
I said,
it's if they were being abused, what I'm saying.
yeah.
But it wasn't, it was not that because we got us slavery and women were with men and up to what it was 18, whatever. We got slavery,
When
18
did we get slavery?
out of slavery. When you got out of slavery.
Oh, I don't know.
whatever, 1856. I can't remember right now. But anyway, from that time to 1960, women weren't being abused more. They weren't being abused more than any time during history. They were being abused during slavery with the white man. They were definitely being abused, raped, and whatever, rape, pillage, beat, whatever they were doing. Um, During the time 1920 something, we had communities that were thriving. They weren't getting beat like that. They were part of the community. They were a vital part of the community. They did stuff. They had business also. They part of businesses. I don't know if women had businesses in mass, but they were part of businesses to where they were vital in our community. They had teachers. Women were teachers in the community.
Right.
Yes, I'm saying.
No, when you just, because I was just scared to throw a little tangent there when you talk about women having businesses, and there was a reason that women have businesses, and I don't think it was because they were forbidden to have them. It's just most women don't handle risk well, and owning business is taking a risk, and they weren't willing to. They looking for that safety net, or not necessarily a safety net, but they looking for that comfort, that mainstay, and so it takes a special woman to go out and start a business. As men, we deal with risk a little differently, so. A lot of men. That's why you see more men that are entrepreneurs than you do women because of the risk that's involved. But
that's risk averse.
Yeah, and that's the biology. It has nothing to do with somebody holding you back or keeping their foot on your neck. But that's what that was. But go ahead.
And also during the 20s, you got to think about this. Mothers were nurturers. That's by nature, nurturers. They took care of the household. They took care of the family. Important job, right?
How can you have a family without somebody being there to take
without being taken care of? We see the effects of not having that nuclear family right now in our kids. We see the effect. We see the fact that mothers have to go out there and work all the time, and can't nurture the kids like they should, especially have multiple kids. They don't get enough time. We see the effects of that. Back then, women understood that this is important. Men understood that this is important because I want my children to be whatever. I want my children to grow up and be better than I was. That's majority of men. That is the women too now, because women are taking men roles. So we're talking about back then, though. We're still back then. Don't get on me. We're not talking about now. But back then, men, that was their thing. Hey, I'm doing this. I'm going out here slaving in these which companies. They still had sharecroppers. They still had plant workers and factory workers stuff. I'm going to slave in this factory, busting my ass, shorten my life so my kids can have better, so I can provide for my family. That's the old school man women always talk about. That old school man. I want a man like back in the day. But y'all gave that away,
right?
Go ahead.
Because you thought there was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or you thought the grass was greener on the other side. But the fact of the matter is, just to, I guess I'm trying to figure out when did the family, I guess we lost fact of the family was the most important thing. Now it's not. Now it's, like I said earlier, it's about the singular. It's about me. The people coming behind us, you're on your own pretty much. And that is exactly what we have today. Women naturally were the nurturers. Like I said, they took care of the family. I'm sure it'd be some men out there who were good nurturers, but just biologically speaking, they probably, most of them are not. I ask women all the time. I say, would you leave your child at a daycare with nothing but men there?
No, hell no.
Exactly.
Yeah, hell no.
But you have no problem leaving them there with nothing but women because you understand the nature of women. You know they're gonna care for your child very similar to how you would as a mother. But men, and of course, people try to. Of course, I would. No, you wouldn't.
No,
no, you wouldn't.
Cap.
No, you wouldn't. No, nobody. I wouldn't do it. I go to a nursery or daycare, and there's nothing but dudes. I'm like,
walk out. Gotta go.
Oh, what y'all running up in here? This, But we have specific abilities, and we need to embrace them and then expound on them. But I don't understand when did taking care of the family and making sure the family was nurtured became a subservient role.
Feminism.
Okay.
Feminism.
That's the roaring lion.
Feminism. That's when it happened. Remember, you are less than if you're just in the house. If you're in the house, whatever. Feminism is supposed to be about choice, but at some point, women started to look down on other women that had that role. Oh, she's just a house mother. I mean, housewife. She's just a housewife.
It destroyed the family. Wow.
The idea, the idea of a woman doing certain things that were, yes, we heard stay in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, you know, because you're a man, you think a woman's supposed to do that. That's what they start shaming men about wanting women to do that, the roles, and women at point, oh, well, I'm not doing anything but being, you know, what he want me to be.
Right.
That's a important role.
That's the greatest gift you can give to a man is
Mhm.
to carry his child.
Yeah.
My goodness. But like you said, somebody got into their head and they started to believe and it felt like they were less than because that's all you did was
Mhm.
birth this man's children, his legacy, and then take care of them to raise them up to be great human beings. That's all you did.
And,
Wow.
and then they back that with shaming language. You part of you being doing part of the patriarchy. You going with the patriarchy. Male chauvinist pig. You know, he's a male chauvinist pig because he wants you to be in the kitchen and barefoot and everything and pregnant and you know all of the language that you know down people that want to do the things that they were naturally born to do.
When you look at it, it kind of play into the capitalist society of America because nobody's home cooking now. Now you
Yeah,
get the Burger Kings, you
mhm.
get the McDonald's, you get all the fast food, you get the little cheap little Debbie. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I'm just having some revelations
No, go
right
ahead,
here.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No,
Why you doing it? I got
be-
something. Why you doing it?
because
I got to find something. I
because
have.
now America is structured around that I'm gonna call it that business model.
Mhm.
Where nobody has time to cook anymore. Nobody has time to do this. So we're gonna provide this for you. You don't know what you're eating.
Mhm.
You don't know what you're getting, but this is gonna be the substitute for the wife cooking or for the mom being in the home.
So I found it. So this is the thing, right? We're looking back on stuff. I have an article, a clip from an article, right? You don't believe me? This is not what the government did. The government didn't want this to happen. Mind you, Gloria Steinem worked with the FBI. It's documented. She worked with the FBI. It's documented. Um, who's head of the FBI that wanted to destroy the black family?
That's who.
Hoover. He wanted to destroy the black family. He wanted to destroy it. Well, it was the black power, black power, because we was all about black power back then. We black and we proud, all this other stuff.
Was united.
Back then, we was united. He wanted to get in that and get them away from it. Mind you, 1965, 1964, 65, Moynihan report, scissors, all that stuff came out, scissors report, told them that if you give the black woman money, you give her welfare, she's going to choose the welfare, the money over her man. All this happened around the same time. So I have an article right here, a little article that said, and it shows they were specifically targeting women, trying to get women to go to work.
Mhm.
Negro women to be put to work. City ordinance soon to be passed requiring them to be regularly employed. Can't read the rest of it, it's too small.
Many complaints.
Yeah,
Yes, I can
many
read that.
complaints. So what they were trying to do, they're trying to get women to workforce. Get women so they wouldn't have to rely on their men. So they won't have to be, have that family structure.
Mhm.
Upset the family structure. White women back then didn't have jobs. A
Mm-mm.
lot of them didn't have jobs. Why didn't they say women in general?
Just the Negro women.
Negro women. Negro women, we're going to put y'all to work.
And that carried over probably in a lot of cultures. I don't know. I could, as far as our culture, as far as black people, you don't see a lot of stay-at-home moms, but in a lot of other cultures, you do see the quote-unquote soccer moms where
Oh yeah,
they at the grocery store in the middle of the day. They got the kids with them.
they jogging in the middle of the day.
Right. So, wow, man, I'm having some revelations. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So let's go to the marriage trend because I also had this. I was prepared. So some of this stuff is I was prepared for my little conversation with the ladies. For it to go anyway. So we could have proof because I don't like to talk about stuff unless I have proof. When talking about it. Speaking of that, I got another one Friday. Another discussion. It's going to be some other young ladies, but we're not going to talk about the family structure. We're just talking about basically what women want.
Let me jump in here. I wanted to get on there so bad when they started talking about submission, because and it's hard for in text you don't have any, you can't really express yourself like, well, I can't as quickly as some of the other people. But what I was trying when I said allowing a man to be a man from day one and allowing him to lead. I didn't mean turn your life over to him, not submissive that way, but just in whatever you're doing. If you go into the movies, allow him to, pick you up, take you to the movies, pick the movie, take you to dinner, whatever. Allow him to be the leader in whatever you're doing. And when they heard it, they automatically assume, sign over my bank account to this joker, give him every. I'm like, no, why would
access to everything?
I'm talking
from
about
day one.
I'm talking about whatever activities y'all are involved, whatever level of relationship y'all have, allow him to be a man in that standard. Not or be submissive in that standard, not in your entire life, just what y'all have, and then he can prove himself. If he can't handle it in that small section, then
to go about your business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I couldn't really get that expressed because they just they see words and they just get. I hate using this word, but they get triggered because it's overused. I think because it's I'm not gonna say it's not a such thing, but it's.
But everybody now, I think we're hypersensitive of everything.
Oh yeah.
So everything's
Everybody
triggering
mad.
now. Yeah.
Can't say nothing. You can't call a woman G.I. Jane 2 without getting smacked in the mouth.
Okay, let's go back. I'm tired of the Smiths. No, I'm not doing. Anyway, so let's go to the marriage trend. So I had these chart. So I was supposed to put the right, or the right chart on the left. But anyway, we're gonna go to this, like, black women more likely to be married than white women until 1970. So think about, we're talking about 1965, 60 something. It was a certain thing, a certain level. Right there in 1960s, right there, right, we had the where it crossed.
They start roaring, man.
When it crossed. Right there in the late 1960s, you see that cross. The green is the white women, and this is not showing this is showing the forecast of never married amongst younger women aged 35 and up. Right. So right there in the late 60s, you see them cross. The white women started to get more married because this is the decline. This is the decline of women that weren't married. So they were right around 10% women weren't married, and then it started going down after the feminist movement. It's like
we were right there at 5%.
We was right at 5%. 5% not married up until the feminist movement happened. Then it rose tremendously. It rose.
It's exponential.
Hey,
Look at that.
if this was stock, you would be paid.
You'll be rich.
You'll be rich.
Yeah.
It grows. It grows.
That's 5 times in what, maybe 20 years. So, wow. Yeah, they started roaring, man. Right there when they started roaring.
When they started roaring.
69, 68.
Our sister chose not to have a man. The white woman said, nah, we're going to keep on doing what we're doing.
We're going to tell y'all.
We're going to keep on doing what we're doing. And they stayed around the same. Look, they went down to 5% where we used to be. Now, I mean, they came a little, but they never got back to 10% where they were. They understood. They understood that they need to be with their men.
They say this is a good life. Look at these.
Look what they're doing.
Look at all these black women out here struggling, trying to, these single moms. They were like, nah, I'm gonna choose the latter. Wow.
So simultaneously, while that was going on, like I said, there's a war on the black family. It became a war on drugs right around the 1980s. So that's part of the reason why a lot of it rose. Also, part of it rose because if you look at this, and you can't see this, but the black line is the black people right at the 1980s, right there. The war on drugs. We went all the way up as far as being in prison. So this is part of it also. We're not going to say it's all women at this point around the 80s. The 80s was partially men going to prison around the drug era.
You can very easily, I'm going to say very easily, but you can take a look at that and say it was that change between 1970 and 80 with the marriage rate that caused that.
I don't correlate, but it's not causation because the drugs had nothing to do with the women.
Well, they didn't. But you're talking about roughly a generation of kids being raised with less and less fathers around.
Yeah, less structure,
structure around. But look at from 90 to 2000. That thing, 80 to 90 was rough. Then 90 to 2000 is pretty much on the same plane. I can't say that's the cause of it, but you can. It's very
it's correlated. Yeah, it's correlated.
it has
Yeah.
it has something to do with the breakdown of the family
Mm.
structure. I'm sure. Interesting. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
but yeah, so we see it once you pull the charts out, you see that during that time, because even we go over here, right, the 70, we were about the same, 60, 70. We was in prison, the same white men and black men.
Just doing crime
Mhm.
together. They right there one and one. This
Well, no, hold on, I'm sorry, I'm lying. So the red line, I'm sorry, is the marriage rate. That's what it is. The marriage rate, and the black line is the prison.
oh,
Yeah. So it's the black marriage. So the red line, so right there, we used to be in prison around the same, whatever. The marriages, around the same. So we were still, it was even. Up until the war on drugs, then bam, you know, the decline in the marriage went up, and in the prison, 572,900 people, men in prison here.
I thought that was a dollar sign. That's a five.
No, that's five. That's five. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. This is small. I'll do better about these charts. But anyway,
myopia kicking in.
But anyway, like you can see when you start to look at facts, and that was from the Census Bureau. When you start looking at facts about, the timeline and what happened at that time, you start to see, starts to paint a picture. Starts to paint a picture of how our community started this decline to what we have today. I would like to believe if our family never broke up the way it did because of all the stuff we fallen for, stuff we fell for in the past. It's the same trick if you think about it.
It is.
They came to Africa, they promised us good shit. We got on that boat, and we rest is history. But the same way the woman fell for the white woman telling her, you don't need to do this. The men are oppressing you, basically. Your men are oppressing you, which, if you look at it, I mean, of course, man is supposed to have authority over his household.
That's right.
He's supposed to have authority over household, of course. But oppressing you is a big thing because we never had power. Black men never had power.
Not oppression power.
Not that type of power. Yes,
Not oppression power.
we were recovering.
Yeah, and I'm I'll go as far as saying this. I never met either one of my grandfathers, but they came up during hard times, so they were different kind of men than what we are today. So I'm sure they were rough around the edges. They didn't take no back talking. So I can kind
They
of
were
see
stern.
they were stern.
Mhm.
I can kind of see how they try to throw that in as oppression, but
Mhm.
he made sure his family ate every day. He took care of everybody. Bills got paid, whatever the case may be. They had a family. They had big families, not just a family.
Oh no,
They had
10
lots
kids.
Lots of kids. So yeah, we just weakening society with this, and we, like I said, we are being impacted worse than any other group. It's impacting all groups, but the impact on us is, I say us, on black people, is it's tremendous compared to everybody else. It's exponential. It's multiple times higher.
And like you said, back in the day, we had more going. We had a lot going on. We had racism, real racism. We had in your face, blatant, calling you a nigga,
You can't eat here.
racism.
Yeah.
You can't eat here. Where you going, nigga?
Yeah.
We had that type of racism. We had dirty looks and spit on you and whatever else. We had that type of racism that we had to deal with. But now we don't have none of that stuff, and we're worse off.
That's the crazy part.
No, it's actually what happens to the humans. Think about it. With human beings, if they don't have a real struggle, they will create a struggle for themselves. Yes, they will create a struggle for themselves, and that's what we've done. When we got to the point where we had any kind of freedom, any kind of leeway, we chose to do what we wanted to do and go away from the structure of what worked, what used to work.
Yeah, create our own utopia, which is a problem. But
it wasn't utopia.
Nah,
it's not nowhere.
We think we can get one some reason, but nah, it wasn't utopia. It's heavy.
We just in New Orleans, we just had 3 girls and 1 boy carjack a 73-year-old woman. dragged her down the street,
Dragged her down the
dragged
street.
her down the street because she was still caught up in the seatbelt.
Oh damn.
Dismembered her, like arm came off and killed the woman. This is where we at. This is where we at is our kids. I mean, lack of having a family, lack of having a community,
Lack of respect, lack of
empathy, lack of anything. Like if the mothers usually put empathy in kids.
Yeah.
That's where they learn that from. Your first teacher is the mother. If the mother's out there doing whatever, she doesn't have any. I mean, we can argue why there's not a man in the household. I mean, and we could throw anything at the board and we'll be right.
Yeah,
You
it's
know, we'll be
multiple
right.
reasons.
There's multiple reasons. But the thing is, we still don't value family the way we used to. We still feel that, and we have a lot of women that still feel that men don't have a place. A man can't tell me nothing.
Mhm.
He's not worthy. He's not valuable. And that is the reason why we have. I mean, like I said, in a debate I had, right? Because it was like, well, men did X, Y, this is why the men did this. This why this family's this, because men ain't in the household. Okay, so let's go down that path. That might be the reason why. But can you tell me this? Did the men say, as a whole, we got together as men and said, we gonna leave all our women. We gonna leave the black family. Fuck the black family. Did the men get together and say that? But we actually have something we could point at, a movement where women said, we don't have to do this no more because we are women. Hear us roar. Like we had a movement that women said, you know, we want our own autonomy. We don't want to be up under men. We want to, and ladies, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't make choices on your own, because if you don't have a man, you have to do what you have to do. Much respect, because you have to do what you have to do. You just don't lay down and die. But what I'm saying was it.
You gotta grow that beard and get the chest hair coming on. I mean, that's what happened when you start taking on all that. Hey,
look up heartbreak syndrome. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, I'll let y'all know what it is. I think it's heartbreak syndrome. Look that up. But yeah, that's what ended up happening. You know, y'all had a movement. So which one is more likely to have happened? All the black men got together and say, we're not gonna be men no more. We're gonna change. Because it's always what happened to men. Men ain't the same like they used to be back in the old days. That's the common consensus is men are not the same. Like y'all ain't the same. But what actually happened was the men just said, we're not gonna be the same. Or it's a reaction to the women saying, we're not gonna be part of the community anymore. We don't give a damn about y'all.
We don't need you.
We don't need you no more because we're able to do this by ourselves. And that's why that title of that thing I did, the discussion I did, was we can do bad by ourselves. They decided that they didn't want to struggle with the community. They wanted to be better than the community. They want to be on top.
Selfish. Why would it have to be that way?
I think I did a little preaching. I'm sorry, y'all.
It was roaring.
I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, that's what ended up happening was that, you know, when we look back at stuff, I mean, we have to start connecting the dots. We have to start saying, we have to start looking at why we're at where we're at. You know, everybody, all the women on the panel agreed that the black community have they were passionate, but yeah, we have a problem. We messed up. We messed up.
You can't. I don't think you can deny that. Mm-mm. So it's So what? I'm trying to remember what was some of their. Did they go into like reasons why we're here, or you just
interpersonal? It was the communication, the breakdown of communication, patience, because that was part of it too. Not being patient. If you think about it, you know, not being patient to understand that, you know, yes, things are gonna be bad for a little while. Because think about it, we had just Dr. King, Malcolm X, Black Panther Party, all that was destroyed. So it was our community was in chaos for a second, and I want to say it was about 2 or 3 years. It wasn't long. It wasn't like in the grand scheme of things. It wasn't long. We was in chaos because we had lost all our leaders basically. So it was like, okay, we don't have any more leaders. We don't have that head of our community. Our head of our community was gone.
But do you think we needed that? Do you think we needed necessarily leaders to understand? I think you know, it kind of rubs me when people
Mm.
talk about having a leader
Mm.
for like a group of people.
Mm.
I think the bigger impact was the split of the family, far as like you said, the feminist movement coming along and look, ladies, you don't have to do this. You don't have to be under their thumb.
Mm.
You know, go off and do your own. I think that was the bigger. I mean, I know what you're saying about the leadership, but they were very inspirational. But I
Mm.
think it was that separation of the family is what really kicked us in the.
No, that was the death blow. Like that was the death blow. The split of family. What I'm saying is that think about, okay, the United States. Had the United States not had, if we never had a president, think about how the United States would be.
Mhm.
So you need kind of a figure to kind of
So,
say,
and that's always going to
yeah,
happen in any structure.
mm,
Somebody's going to,
mm,
rise to the top
mm,
and be people going to look to him for
mm.
leadership or whatever. So yeah, I agree with
For
that.
most part, black people after that, that was the last time we had the real leaders. Now
Prominent
we had
national.
several. We
Mhm.
had a couple. Nation of Islam. You had your Nation of Islam people had their own whatever. The church people had Martin Luther King or whatever, and whoever they had going on over there. Um, they didn't see eye to eye, but they respect each other and they understood we need to be better. So they understood we needed to go someplace. So you had your nonviolent movement. You had your I wish a
Violent,
nigga would movement.
violent.
I wish you would. You had a wish you would movement, right?
You would open your
Along with
hand.
the along with the Black Panthers, which was also we policing the police, walking around with armed up, black berets and black leather coats.
That's legal.
So we had that. We had somebody look up to that says, okay, yeah, this is not right in our community. We're not going to do this. We had code. We had a code in our community. After that happened, think about 70s drugs. Also the drugs in the community, right? We brought drugs in the community. So at that point, you got to realize, think about after you saw Malcolm, Martin, Black Panthers being destroyed, all these black men being destroyed. As a black man, just think about what kind of psychological damage it done to you. So now you're more susceptible to drinking. You're more susceptible to drug use because that's PTSD. You're talking about seeing people cut down the street. You're talking about knowing about where we come from, slavery, being lynched and everything, and you're seeing this happen actively around you. Actual lynching because people want rights. We want rights, just like we're human beings. So just think about the drug is a symptom to what we're seeing.
Coping mechanism.
It's the coping mechanism. So that, and then on top of that, now we don't mean shit to our women. So just think about how.
Damn.
Just think about black men at this time, and this is the thing nobody ever thinks about. What was going on at that time? How are you going to cope with something when you have nothing? You don't have family anymore. You don't have nobody that's going to have your back. You can't even look back at your sister, your wife, or whoever. I mean, you wasn't married because if you was married, you still married. But you don't have your black sisters in your corner anymore because they gone over there with the white woman. How can you tell a man he's worth anything? How, and that's how they looked at us. That's why they were able to attack us all these years, black men all these years, because their own women said, "Oh, they ain't worth shit." They were able to have free reign because no loyalty. There's no loyalty to the community, no loyalty to the black man. So how's the black man supposed to be loyal to a woman that he knows is not has left us? For most part, not the wives. Like I said, the wives chose to be loyal to the community.
I like how you jumped in there for the most part.
For the most part, no, for the most part, because it was a movement. Had not that movement happened, the women would have been, I mean, they would have been doing the same thing. They would have did what the white women did. Because white women, they start the movement, but they
quickly realized, oh, this is real out here.
and I haven't checked everything on this. I was looking into something I heard. So something I heard was about the feminist movement was really kind of back. Once again, I said the FBI had something to do with it, but also, yeah, it was no LGBTQ at the time. So lesbians had something to do with it. So, and I'm looking into that. This is theory right now. Don't quote me on this. This is theory. It's something I heard, something I read somewhere. And what it was that the women that identified as lesbians, um, they were not being heard. So With men, they weren't being heard with men because they
Right.
weren't men.
Right.
With women that were wives and that were, a certain place, they were being looked at as being, oh, you're not, you're outside or whatever. You're abnormal.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these groups that were women, and I can't call it groups. Like I said, I haven't looked all the way into it. I'm gonna look into it, and I'm not gonna talk on it. I'm just saying, just for my own, because whatever.
You should talk
But
on
yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But just for I'm just saying, that's what I heard. That's what I read somewhere, that it was kind of back with them too, because in order for us to be looked at as being women and being valuable in the sense of all other women, we had to join them cause that women don't need men. We had to blur the line so we could fit in there and feel good and feel important. So once again, theory, until I could prove it, that's theory. Until I could come up and read everything around
Yeah.
that situation's theory right now. It's just
It's a little
what I've
hearsay.
read.
See,
It's hearsay, yeah, it's hearsay.
we're gonna see how
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah. But what happened was that, and what we do know in this document is that Gloria Steinem worked with the FBI, FBI's.
Now, was she a lesbian?
No, she wasn't.
Okay.
No. Also that Cosmopolitan also, was a big part of that push, and they was lying to women, telling women that this is the life you will have if you don't have your men telling you whatever, because they wanted to sell women makeup. They wanted to sell women certain things.
All about the money.
It was about the
Like
money.
I said, it just talking about it earlier. I said it fits into the capitalism page perfectly.
Mhm.
Destroying the family. Nobody's there to provide a meal. Of
Mhm.
course you're gonna have the grocery stores, but now you got all these other opportunities to make money by selling people the food that normally would have been prepared from their farm, hell, or from the grocery store. But but yeah, it's always about the money. Always about the money. And that's the same thing going on today. And it's so bad and blatant.
Mhm.
I have to go out and search when I do try to, get some relaxation and look at, be entertained by the TV. It's all kind of, um, I guess, I don't want to call it necessarily political stances, but it's all kind of everybody trying to get their message heard in all the shows you look at, and it just gets unbearable now. I mean,
All the commercials have certain agendas, you can
well,
tell.
even the shows,
Mhm.
all of them have agendas.
Mhm.
They're trying to nudge you in a certain direction, one way or
Mhm.
another. And I'm just like this. When did we get away from it? I remember growing up. I'm going on a slight tangent. We used to look at these different shows, and they'd just be pure entertainment.
Mhm.
And then maybe once or twice a season, they'll have one of those serious ones where they
Mhm.
they picked out a topic
Yeah.
and they say we're gonna hammer down on you know uh, drug use by kids
Mhm.
or drinking and driving. But it wasn't the entire season. They
Mhm.
was constantly trying to hit you with. It was for entertainment.
Mhm.
And I guess they realized, hey, if they're gonna look at us this long, we can start pushing our agenda
Mhm.
through TV shows and through commercials and everything.
Well, they understood how media works and how
Right.
propaganda works, and
And because it works very well. It works very well. But yeah, I I try to limit my TV input because it does try to influence and it will if you look at it long enough you start yeah like with all these drug commercials
Mhm.
you start questioning yourself, do I have restless leg syndrome? You might be laying in the bed one day
Yeah.
like, well, maybe I do have restless leg
My
syndrome.
leg feels shaky.
Right, I'm feeling shaky. Maybe I should go get my restless legs looked at. But you hear something enough
Mhm.
and your subconscious picks up on all
Mhm.
that shit. And it'll start telling you, oh yeah, you probably gonna need to go get that looked at. Get you some of this. What I don't know, what they. I don't want to stick in my mind is Big Tarvy, but that's the one for HIV.
Yeah,
But your subconscious,
Zerlec or something. I don't
yeah,
know.
it'll have you going to search. Maybe I should get this. Keep my legs still.
Mhm.
But yeah, the propaganda machine is real, especially in entertainment and media.
Mhm.
It's just to go back to your thing about Cosmopolitan, they realized that back then. I'm sure everybody else was doing it too, but
Mhm.
that's the one that stuck out on the topic we're talking about, as far as women being influenced.
Yeah, and I had to, even with like my father, we've debated about certain things, and that came up, and and I had to say, and my father's religious, so um so
We tried to pray it out of you.
No, he ain't that religious. No, that's
Let
my
me-
mama.
let me
That's
hear
my
you
mama.
out of it.
No, my father's religious, so anything that when we talk about it goes back to, we can I try to, go to the biblical sense of stuff, because this is how we're gonna debate, because this, you believe in this, and up to a certain point I believe in some of it. I believe there's a creator and whatever, that's something else. But anyway, the stories in the Bible, if you look at it, the original sin, the original whatever transgression to God was given through a woman. A woman was used as a conduit to get to the man. So if we look at the man's downfall throughout history, it's always been his woman.
And that's not to blame.
No, it's
woman.
not. No, it's inequity in us. I mean,
Right. It's
yeah,
so you
it's not women. It's inequity in us.
and that's the power that I wish women understood that,
Mhm.
that
Oh
they
yeah,
have.
yeah, they have power. Yeah,
But they don't want to use that power. They don't, they could. I don't want to go into that. But like you said, if you look at all the great nations or whatever, the downfall came soon when
yeah.
a woman stepped into the scene, not necessarily
Or
in
they put a
charge.
woman as the
leader.
head of their whatever they was trying to do. Hey Ashley, what's up? Y'all go check out Black Girl Interrupted. I'm gonna be over there in a little bit, Ash. About to wrap up. Black Girl Interrupted on everybody's platform, on every platform. Sorry, every platform. She's gonna be on tonight. She should be. No, she's gonna be on. Yeah, she's gonna be in another 45 minutes. Another 35 minutes. I'm sorry. So y'all check out Black Girl Interrupted on YouTube and go subscribe to her. Um, I also want to shout out if y'all want to know, like a good show, somebody that a woman to listen to about femininity. She's a femininity doctor. Check out Crimson Cure. Go subscribe. There's a lot of stuff. She breaks down very well. Better than I could do. And she has a book coming out this year.
About those hyenas.
Yeah, about the hyenas. That's where I get the hyena thing from. Uh, we're good, Ash. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, I saw that you're going through something. I'm praying for you and your situation. But like I said, everybody go check out Ashley. Um, but like I said, back to the point about the loyalty for our community. Um, at this point, like, so we look back. We talked about all this stuff to look back to talk about right now. Um, what does our community need to go forward? I mean, to prosper, to no problem, Ash. You know what it is. It's all of it. To prosper, to get ahead, to get our next generation onto a place to where they can start seeing the fruits of our labor. Because right now we only see the fruits of our labor. We are living the fruits of our labor right now. Um, what can we do? And that's why I've said, I was talking to somebody a little while ago prior to us getting on here about my theory. It's only a theory, and I don't think it will ever happen. But my theory for a solution for our community is that we have to, for the Black community, we have to be mindful to start giving standards, and it would have to be, once again, this is me. It's me talking my theory. It would have to be, the parents would have to, we would have to come together as parents, because the children are supposed to be the future. Children supposed to be the future. So like, people are single, they're doing their own thing. Y'all could do whatever y'all do over there. The Black community is supposed to be made of families. So people with kids, with families, should be setting a standard for what the community is going to be into the future, because our kids are going to have to be the ones to, either they're going to live in it, they're going to be doomed because of what we didn't do, or they're going to profit off of what we did do. So, and I'm not saying, and it was like, oh, so a single person can't say anything. A single person don't word. I mean, they don't mean anything in the community. Not saying that. What I'm saying is that if we're going to set standards, there's certain things that single people can do that's not going to affect the kids that parents can't do.
Right.
As a parent, it's certain things you shouldn't be doing with your kid. Certain things they make like it's okay, like certain TikToks and stuff. You see parents doing crazy shit with their kids that shouldn't be good. I mean, like, it's not good. Like I've seen women sitting there bent over doing something, the kids around, twerking and shit. You know, it's certain things that we have to have standards for.
That's that selfishness I was talking about.
Mhm.
They, wanting to be. I guess they're doing it for the spotlight on
Mhm,
whatever
mhm,
platform now, and just completely disregard the child. That's right there.
mhm,
But that's the thing. It we Society is trying to take away all the things we used to use to combat this. When I
mhm,
when I say that, I'm talking about not necessarily shame, but correction.
mhm,
Hey, you shouldn't be doing that. Now, do what you want to do.
mhm,
It's your life. You can do it. Well, that has a consequence to it,
mhm,
and we're living that consequence now of do whatever you like.
mhm,
It's a reason we have structure. It's a reason you can't just have a good time all the time.
mhm,
I like to
mhm,
party. I like
mhm.
to have a good, but I can't do it every day because if I did, my life would be about a good 2 weeks, and then I'll be in the gutter somewhere.
You'd be in shambles.
Yeah, my life would be ruined.
Mhm,
It's like I said, we got to bring some kind of structure back into there. We got to understand our roles in society and in family. I'm a strong believer that's the only reason we're put on this earth is to make more of us, and not
mhm,
not just to make them and then leave them, to raise them up.
mhm,
You know, to create bigger, stronger families. But everybody's all about self.
mhm,
I think it's so interesting when people say, "Oh yeah, I was born to do this or do that,"
mhm.
and then
About a job.
yeah, about
About a
an
job. Yeah,
occupation.
about an occupation.
No, that's not why you were born. Now you might be very good at that.
Mhm,
That's great. You honed the skill,
mhm,
or
mhm.
you might just have the
Naturally have a skill. Mhm,
genetic
mhm,
ability to
mhm,
jump higher than others, or
mhm,
to be more focused on things than others. But that's not why you're here. You're here to procreate,
mhm,
and then create more people with that same genetic
mhm,
characteristic who they can go on and do those great things and continue to procreate. But yeah, it's funny, but it's that selfish aspect. It's that
mhm,
me,
mhm,
and not thinking about the greater good of your family.
mhm. And that's the thing. When you have kids, the most important job you have as a parent is to raise your kids to be a productive member of society. That's the biggest job you have. Yes, you have to work to do this, but the raising of your kids, not just buying your kids shit and saying, okay, they're happy, so they're good. No, raising your kids. It's work. Takes a lot of work.
Yeah, and it's no rule book. It's no manual to
Mm,
it. Um, a lot of people think because their kids are clothed, have somewhere to stay, got the nicest shoes or whatever, then they're doing a good job.
mm,
Well, they yeah, as far as getting material stuff, but what kind of person are they? What you know, do they understand, like you say, being empathetic towards somebody else's cause, or understand how important it is to build strong families
mhm,
and see what that foundation take where that foundation will take you if you prepare it properly.
mhm,
That's the more important thing. We have in society, and like I said, I understand it's the capitalistic way, and I'm a strong believer in capitalism, but
mhm,
the people who are, I'm not gonna say in charge, but the people who have a stronghold on capitalism are trying to keep that ball rolling. They,
mhm,
they continue to interject things in there to keep their money coming into their pockets.
mhm,
Does it really take and I'm not trying to knock anybody for what they like or what they
mhm,
want. I like nice shit too,
mhm,
but if you hadn't raised your child, or if you hadn't provided everything you need for your child, does it really take a 6 bedroom home, and it's only three of y'all in that house?
mhm.
You have taken a portion of your money, and I'm not gonna say you threw it away, but you just kind of erased it when they could do more. In a more, I'm not gonna say a dumbed down house, but just in a simpler
Mhm, mhm,
structure, and take the focus off of materialism. But I understand because the propaganda is real.
mhm,
Advertising works, commercials work. So people, that's what but we got to realize what's going on so we can combat that. I look at some of the houses that people lived in 20 years ago. 3 bedroom house might be big as your studio right
mhm.
here or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
but they lived. They were able to survive. They weren't struggling. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with having nice stuff, but I think we're giving that too much of a priority over our family.
Mhm,
You see all these kids today. I mean, these kids got got better cars than me,
iPhones and
you
the
know,
best phones.
got and they don't have a job,
Mhm.
so somebody's buying that for them. And according to the Labor Department, you know, I can't remember the percentages, but very few people make over $50,000 a year. I think the household income, the median household income is might be 50,000. So why? Unless I'm just lucky to live around all these rich people,
Yeah,
and I might be just, maybe I just live around a bunch of rich people.
you doing well, brother.
Maybe that's what it is, but everybody's doing well.
So I had that also. So we're gonna look at it
The way it looks, everybody's doing well.
No, but actually, these are the numbers. Only 20% of black men make between 50 to 74,000, 74,999. 75%, 75,000 or more, only 13%. You look at the black woman, and they swear black women doing so well because they're the most educated, which they have a lot of education, but it's only 17% making 50 to 74,999, and 75,000 or more is only 9%.
See, but if you look around,
Mhm.
and maybe, like I said, maybe I just live it. Now, I will say Georgia is skewed because Georgia has a high.
Everybody moved to Georgia.
Everybody moves to Georgia, and they have a high percentage of black people.
Yeah.
And but
well, that's not even Georgia, Atlanta, because you got to think of Atlanta surrounding areas, because
Atlanta, but the state of Georgia is like 30% black. If I'm
Okay,
30,
all right.
30, it's like 36. It's high.
Okay,
so they have a high percentage of black people, but if you look around, just wherever you go, everybody seems to be balling. Everybody
yeah.
So it's like these numbers ain't jiving. Either these numbers are wrong, or something's not jiving.
So what we don't have is the actual credit debt. The debt, that's what we don't have.
The credit,
debt
to
income. If you have the debt to income, you'll probably see you'll probably see the
real.
You see the real then, because even with the education, right? You have a lot of people have high student loan debt, but they're not making.
They might make none of that money.
Yeah, they're not making the money. It's going into debt, into student loans.
And my whole thing is, it's nice. It's good to have nice stuff, but don't put that before principles and family. If we invest in our family, all that other stuff will show up. It'll just start.
And it might not be this impatient. That's one of the young ladies' patience, right? Because it might not show up in this generation,
right?
But white people didn't get where they're at today from one generation.
No, this is generational.
This is generational money going from next generation, until they got what they got, and also with some help from the government. They had handouts to the government. Don't let nobody lie to you and say they pull themselves up by their bootstraps. It's a damn lie.
I mean, I'm not gonna say they can't pull themselves up by their bootstraps,
but for most part, the government gave farmers, the government gave people land, the government gave white people stuff. When we were we couldn't have anything.
Yeah, they maybe, I don't know about a lot of that stuff, but they did or whatever. But all those white people didn't take advantage of that. It was only certain ones.
Not everybody.
So I mean, just because somebody give you something, don't mean you're gonna be successful. But I think it's that, like I said, that idea of putting that materialistic stuff to the side, just put it in maybe 4th or 5th place, and prioritizing what's more important. Because I really think that's the biggest problem in our community, and especially for the black community, because we, and don't get me wrong, I like to look good too. I like to be sharp, but it's certain things that I have to take care of first before I can start spending money on stuff that make me look, nice when I step out the house or whatever. So, man, prioritize, put the material stuff away. But I think in a lot of people's mind, that's a status of success. And was that something you showed on here the other day, or something I read? And this was back in the early 1900s, and somebody was making reference to, black people sure like to spend their money on expensive stuff, spending money on looking good. This was early, 1910, 1920s. It might have been something I saw on YouTube.
I think you meant how to something Negro. It was something about how to sell to a Negro,
something like that.
Yeah.
But they, I say they, whoever they is, people realize that this is nothing new. This has been something that's gone on for a long time. It's just now it's having a massive effect on how we do things, because now those people probably did whatever, they were established in order to do those things.
Mhm.
Now we're not even established. We just
No,
doing
no,
it.
we just doing it.
We just, but it was interesting that big, I'm gonna call it big business,
Mhm.
felt like that about black people
Black people,
already,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
over 100 years ago.
But you got to realize too, like when we got let out of slavery, we were going to make money doing jobs. We had all the skills.
Right.
So the thing was, they got the skills. How can we get what they're going to make?
We gotta
We
sell them
have to
something.
start. We have to start, giving them shit or selling them shit. So yeah, they can use the skill all they want to, but we're gonna get the money off them. We still using them. We're still using them for our benefit.
I'm gonna call this show the Revelation Show. I don't have
Mhm.
so many revelations. Just, I mean, this. So I'm like, man, that makes perfect sense. But go ahead, my man.
Yeah. So like I said, back to the point of being loyal to our community and having some kind of direction. Having some kind of direction. I mean, first of all, you have to be willing to give it something up. You can't say you're loyal to the community and still want to do what you want to do. If you want to, you're gonna have to be uncomfortable for a while. You have to be uncomfortable. Um, whether it be like we said, we're talking about kids, right? Having kids, right? Whether it be you have to take away from what your kid is having, Jordans and the newest this and newest that, and put it to something to get them to do school, so they won't have to have the debt. That high debt. If it comes to that, you are doing something because less money you put in somebody else's pocket, for some foolishness that you could put into their head. Think about we got majority of boys in our community, fourth grade reading level,
Mm.
fourth grade reading level, which means we're failing our boys. We're failing our boys. How can we have a community with weak boys?
Who can't read?
Can't read. If you can't read, like logically, you're not gonna get certain.
I mean,
You're not gonna be a part of certain things.
you can't follow basic
Yeah,
instructions.
yeah.
Then. Unless somebody sits there and guides you through them.
Hmm.
You can't. You can't. Man, you've regressed. You holding yourself back big time reading at a fourth grade level. And that's what are we talking about? Our teenage boys or what?
No, no, they talking about boys. Yeah, because if you think about it, go back to the preschool to prison pipeline. That's how they know how many prisons to build because they know these boys are not doing well in school.
Yeah.
They're going to do something. More than likely, they're going to be criminals. So, which blows my mind. We know this information that there's a such thing as the preschool to prison pipeline, and we're not focused on educating our boys, not getting our boys to read and getting our boys mentally prepared for life. We're not doing that. We're focused on our girls, telling our girls that, get you education so you won't need a man. And they're doing that well. They're doing that well. But for our boys, our young boys, it's like, yeah, all right, whatever. Let them do this, let them do that. We're going to clothe them. We're going to have them looking fresh. We're going to have them
See, and that's the thing I was gonna say. If you're gonna do that, at least if you're gonna
balance. Balance.
dress them up, at least make them show them how to earn that. Let them
Mhm,
go out there and
mhm,
see the value of money. What you
mhm,
have to do to get this $200 or whatever it costs for the new shoes or
mhm,
whatever. You gotta, go put in some work and understand. Now, put in this work. Was it worth all the time you gave for these shoes? If you say yes, then
That's what it is.
keep working hard
Mhm,
like that so you
mhm,
can buy shoes. But eventually, them shoes gonna fall apart. They're gonna
mhm.
get dirty. Now your time, that time you put in to get those shoes is pretty much gone.
Mhm.
We got to start teaching them about.
Or and teach them with the savings. Like if this same money, if you save this money,
It
say
would
now
be
this time
this,
we're gonna save this money. And you're
or
gonna
we're gonna buy this tool, and
Mhm,
with this tool you can make even more money.
mhm,
Investment, assets, things
mhm.
like that. But yeah, it's bad right
We have no excuse right now because we have knowledge. We have knowledge in our hand, right? We got knowledge. All the knowledge we need, and we will not use it for what we need to use it for. We use it for entertainment.
now. Yeah, you can conquer the world with this thing.
We're gonna have to give something up. And that's this. I mean, if think about what we was willing to give up back in the day, 60s. The
Our
whole
li-
bus boycott,
our
bus boycott.
livelihood,
Think about the bus
our
boycott.
freedom, our lives. Come on, man.
That was a point I made, right? Because I had a I'm not gonna say it was. I'm not gonna. Anyway, I had a conversation, right? Somebody very close to me, and I was saying that we were more serious about our community back in the day. We cared more about our community. We cared more about our kids back in the day. We cared more about the future of our kids back in the day. Because, you know, when I was talking about the whole thing about taking the community and it's going to take the community to turn us around, it's going to take us to get a strong community. And back in the day, they everything they did was for not for them. And the person said, well, they did it for themselves because they could. No, they were risking death. They were risking bitten by dogs, water hoses, possibly getting shot, getting lynched and everything. Back in the day, it wasn't for them at that time. It was not for them because they were willing to die. It was for their kids. It was so their kids can have a better world. That was the work they were putting in.
And not just their kids, but the community.
The community
as a
itself.
whole.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure their kids was first priority, but they
Mhm.
wanted everybody to
Everybody.
do better because at that time we saw the effect that it was having on all people
Mhm.
of in the black community, I
Mhm.
guess you could say.
Mhm.
You know, and I use that term loosely as far as the black community, but I mean that's real. It was very visible. You knew at certain times in history, oh, if you're black, you can't go here, or
Mhm.
you're not allowed to do this, or whatever the case may be. So it was for the future. It wasn't about the now.
Mhm.
I want to be able to eat it this way.
Mhm.
No, it wasn't that. It
No.
was so my children don't have to go through this,
Mhm.
But we don't have that same sense of
No.
Sankofa now. We don't want to, reach back and, you know, get our
We
shit
want to
together.
look at what's going on now.
Yeah, we all about the present.
I'm able to go travel. I want to go travel. Everybody about traveling, going somewhere else. What's going on home though? What's going on at your house? What's going on in your neighborhood? What's going on in our community? Not saying traveling is bad or wrong, but when your backyard is messed up, I mean, you going somewhere else and spend money somewhere else. In our community, the dollar travels what 6 hours or something like that in our community, if that much. But we're going to spend it in other cultures.
Yeah, and just look at the different businesses. Not necessarily the kind of business, but look who owns the
Mm,
businesses in certain communities.
mm,
It's very rarely the people or in the black community is very rarely the black business owners.
mm,
Why is that? Because we have access to those things now. Um, and I understand business. It's so many aspects to business now where you can open your business online or whatever.
mm,
But a lot of the brick and mortar places that serve our community directly,
mm,
they're not owned by us.
mm,
They're owned by some another race, and it's not even white people. It's just
mm,
a completely different race. Because they see the value in you know these guys spend money regardless on what it
mm.
is. Whether it be the gas station or a doggone restaurant or whatever the case may be. But that's what I mean. You see it. Just go to your local your local your quickest strip mall that's
Mm,
in your area. You'll see what they're selling you and who owns it.
mm.
So
Yeah, and I was saying this too when I was talking about it. It's only like three things that we support black business. Like only three, really three things: food establishments,
mhm,
barber,
mhm.
and maybe something dealing with your vehicle, maybe like
Mechanic or something.
mechanic or detailing.
Mm, mhm,
This the three major things that we spend money on in our community, and everybody wants to do the same thing,
mhm.
which means it doesn't get the effect.
Yeah, but it's so much more to
Mm,
what we need. We need
mm,
so many more resources than that.
mm.
That we just for whatever reason we don't look into them. I say we don't. I don't know. I can't say, but I just don't see it.
Mm.
I put it like that.
And well, when I say barber hair, I mean,
You talking about the women too?
yeah, the women, yeah, with the
Beauty.
makeup and
Yeah.
beauty stuff. So that's the major stuff we spend our money on in our community, and nobody tries to do anything else. But so financially, we screwed financially. I didn't even look. I'm not even talk about the financial aspect because there's I mean, you can't make people spend money, a certain way.
Mm-mm.
So we can't even do that. But I think having certain standards would be at least a start for us. Um, get some values and morals, some certain type of morals to where we could get our kids. It won't happen during our lifetime. Like I said, our generation is done. We can't even look at ourselves in that manner. We have to say, okay, what's best for our kids? What's best for our kids?
Right. What's best
You
for
know,
our grandkids?
with our grandkids, basically, because our kids really, majority of our kids in our age range are older.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about our grandkids at this point. Like the Jewish community, like if they, and I don't know if they all do this, but I know a lot of them do this. When they leave money, they don't leave it to their kids; they leave it to their grandkids.
Interesting. I've heard something like that before.
So,
I ain't even on that level yet. I
mm,
got to get there. I got to,
mm.
leave it to the
But there's a
grandchildren.
reason why they do that.
Right. So that next generation won't mess it up.
Yeah,
It forces you
yeah,
to go out there and make it.
make it happen. And then if you do the same thing, think of how wealthy you would build, how much wealth you build, because you're not worrying about that next generation. You're worrying about themselves. So, I don't know. Y'all could like whoever come along this video, if you have any kind of idea, how can we turn this around in our community? That's what I want to know. Um, this whole thing about not being loyal and all that, about that the female omnipotent archetype, not being loyal, is just a segue into a deeper conversation about our community, like where it changed in the community, where we lost our way. And like I said, it's not to say that men didn't have a part in that, because we did. Black men did have a part in that, but without the backbone, without the, like you said, the man is the head, the woman is the neck. Without that, I mean, we couldn't do nothing but kind of fail, because women played a vital part in bringing up boys, raising boys, and teaching them certain things. And if they didn't find value in men, then the men weren't going to be around to do that. Not for a whole community. They weren't going to be around to install anything else. So it works hand in hand. But I'm pointing at, like I said, women. This is not about pointing a finger at women and saying, yeah, you women ain't shit. This ain't that. This is that I'm giving you a point in history to where we got off the rails. We could have been better. We could have kept going the course, and we could have been better today because of it. But we chose not to. We chose um women chose the side with enemies, and the enemies kept going on as they did, and they have 54% marriage rate. They are able to build wealth. We are half of that, 20 something percent, and we at where we at, and our kids are where they at. And in order to not look at that, just to say, okay, we don't want to attack black women or whatever you're gonna say about this, would be foolish to me. It would be foolish not to look at all the facts we have.
See, that's the thing, though. Now you can't correct anybody. You can't say no, that's wrong.
Mm.
Now leave them alone. Let them do. Or they come up with this shit like, oh, you attacking black. Oh, you hate whoever or whoever you trying to correct.
Mm.
You must hate them, or no. That's love right there.
No, yeah, yeah.
Because you don't like the way it sounds. You don't like my answer. That's love. If I didn't love you, or if I didn't have love for you, I wouldn't. Why waste my energy
Hey,
on it?
I could ignore you.
Yeah.
And it's the whole thing about the whole interpersonal thing between black men and black women. If and I'm not saying that there aren't black men out there that aren't malicious to black women. I'm not saying that, because they are. There are black men out there that do not like black women,
Oh, yeah.
that have hatred, and it's really hatred for themselves. It's self-hatred. You can't have one without the other. If you're a black man and you have a child, you don't know if your child's gonna come out a man or a woman, or a boy or a girl. You don't know that. So for you to hate black women, you might have a little girl. I mean, you know, so like I said, it goes hand in hand. And the same thing with a woman. If you have a dislike, and I heard this somewhere else, if you have a dislike for a black man, how can you raise a black man?
Okay. Okay.
So this is the whole thing with the interpersonal thing between us two, is that we have to set whatever shit we got going on between us. We have to set that aside. we have to say this is for our future. This is for our future. This is for the future of the community. Black women, y'all can't be above reproach. You can't do it. I mean, sorry, you're gonna have to take criticism. You might not like it. We've been doing it for we black men have been taking criticism for all this shit for the last 50, 60
Yeah, I
years.
was gonna say that's everybody got to take criticism because
But
nobody's perfect.
nobody's perfect, and you have to understand it. That's the thing. Nobody's perfect. Um, if you listen to, and like I said, there are some people that are malicious, but if you listen to the right criticism, you can get better.
Absolutely.
But not listen to anything.
But or listening in an echo chamber with people who agree
Yeah,
with
true,
everything you
true.
say,
Yeah, you can't get better
you're
doing
not
it.
going to grow.
Yeah.
You need to hear difference of opinion
Mm-hmm.
and be willing to accept it and ask the question. Would that make my life better, or do I need to do this? But a lot of people don't want to hear anything outside of what they're used to. So I'm open to all kind of things. I don't have to agree with you, but I still can say, damn, that makes sense. So I'm gonna stick with the way I'm doing it.
Mhm.
But you got to be willing to be open to at least listening to it. And so many, I'm not gonna just put it on women, but so many people
People.
are stuck in their ways. They,
Mhm.
they it's only one this way or no way. So
And the thing you just said about being open, right? The thing about that, being open and hearing people is that, you know, oh no, I'm sorry. When you said no, I'm not gonna change. Thing about that is that if it's working for you, no, you shouldn't change. But we know things aren't working. We know it's not working. So any kind of input that you didn't try, that you didn't focus on, you didn't even think about, is valuable input because what we are doing is not working. So, like I said, telling somebody else today, insanity. Doing something over and over again, thinking you're going to get a different result. It's insanity. We in this community has been dealing in insanity for the last 60 something years. No, last 50, 57 years.
I'm bringing down the math.
Last 57 years, we've been dealing in insanity. So, I mean, like I said, go in the comments. Tell us where you think what we need to change. What do black people need to change? What do this community? What do we need to do for this community to turn around? This is a serious thing, man. It's not. This is not. I mean, we're talking about extinction.
Yeah.
We're talking about extinction of the black community.
Yeah.
2 generations, 3 generations. We're talking about extinction. Like I said this several times. The black community has always been the the experiment of this country. They've always ran experiments with us. Just like they do rats, they look at the black community, the projects, the giving Moynihan report, giving women welfare, telling them they had to get rid of their men out the household. That was a hey. Let's see if it's gonna happen. They did it. Oh, it's working fine. It's working perfectly. Let's put drugs in the community. What's gonna happen? Oh, okay, that's working perfectly. Let's feed this to let's feed this type these kids. Let's feed certain only certain music to these kids. Let's feed certain images to these kids. Oh, look what we got. It's been happening in our community forever. And we refuse to do anything different. We like the way our life is. We like our life, but do we like our kids' lives?
Right. But really, really examine what we got going. What do we really have outside of just stuff?
That's it. Yeah.
That's, we need to want more. So that's what I got to say about that.
At some point, I want to do a panel of men and women. I'm gonna try to. It's so hard to get people to talk about this type of situation because everybody wants to be entertained. Nobody wants to think deeper. Nobody wants to think about the problem. Everybody's trying to escape the problem. At some point, you can't escape. Like in our generation, we're gonna see a lot of people when it comes to retirement time. We're gonna see a lot of people that's gonna be hurting.
And something's gonna have to happen. Some kind of assistance gonna have to show up because it's gonna be you talking about a wave of people who are going at it alone,
Mm-hmm.
who probably have not prepared for retirement.
Yeah, they're just surviving. How they gonna prepare for
Right?
retirement
They
when they just
getting by.
surviving?
They just getting by.
Mhm.
So that's going to be a very delicate situation when it arises. So,
No, I think it's gonna be delicate. I think because Social Security is what it is. I think it's gonna be like, all right, they had the same opportunities as us.
you think they just going to let people just
How
we'll
can
see?
how can they okay? How can you how can you save people, especially let's say people become homeless in a wave of people become homeless? How can you save them? What can you do?
You can't. Nobody can save you but yourself. So no,
But I'm just saying,
yeah,
if
it's
the idea of this, like let's say
like what can they implement to do
60
that?
something, you're not going to be working at 66, 67. A lot of people going to
Hopefully,
fall off. Hopefully.
unless you just
Let's say
want to.
70. Let's just go the even number 70, right? At 70, if people make it to 70, you cannot keep on, you're not going to be able to work to provide whatever. If you don't own your home and you just, can't do whatever, can't pay taxes, whatever, you're going to be homeless.
That's a very true statement.
What is the government going to do for homeless people?
So they're gonna have some elderly projects, but they're gonna have you're gonna have a roommate. You're gonna have another 70
But
year old in your
yeah, I mean that's going to be the answer for us. I mean, whatever. But I'm saying overall, I mean that would be something personal you have to come up with. You have to personally do that. Everybody has to come up with their answer. Like, you know what? I know Miss Johnson down there. She ain't got nobody over there, and
put our shit together.
put our stuff together, and and I think you're gonna see a lot of that in our old age too. A lot of
You're
people
gonna have
just
to.
all of a sudden just coupling together.
You're gonna have group homes.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to start investing in
Hey, it's gonna be real though. It's gonna be real. Like I said, hey, give us any kind of
that. Yeah, give us some
ideas.
feedback.
Give us some ideas. Give us some feedback. Let us know what
What-
you think about this,
you
like
might,
our future.
yeah, you might turn on a light bulb for
Mhm.
you.
Do you not agree with us as far as or with the title of this or what this is about? About then the women weren't loyal to our community back in the day, specifically during the feminist movement. If you don't agree with that, hey, let us know something, and you come back and we'll talk about it. Um, you know, because this is two people's opinions.
Right.
This is not this ain't gospel. I could have wrong facts. I try to do my due diligence about when I talk about stuff. But I can be wrong, just like anybody else. So, unless we talk about it, we won't know. This is just an echo chamber. Then, if nobody else is giving their opinions
Yeah.
and pushback on what's going on,
Comment.
and it's not helping anybody either. So, yeah. Brother, what you got?
That's all I have, man.
Yeah.
Happy Tuesday again. I'm
Happy Tuesday.
good to see
Yeah.
my Tuesday people. I tell you.
Yeah, it's heavy on a Tuesday. Next week,
Yes, we're gonna talk about slapping people who say shit you don't
I'm
like.
done with the Smiths. No.
No, not like that.
Oh, okay.
We just slap.
You know what? We do need to talk about that. We need to talk about being on code, man code. Being on man code. Yeah. Being on man code. Because the thing is,
That's next week.
yeah, let's because you know what? It goes into it could still be part of the, whatever. Because we just talked about the feminist movement. Now we could talk about the way men have failed community. The way men failed community. Because even after, we went willing. I mean, it wouldn't be, they just can't do. Women can't just do something, and we just say, all right, they did it, and we don't. No, we have something to do. We had something to do with it.
Absolutely.
Um,
Everybody's at fault.
yeah, everybody's fault. That now I believe. Now we'll get that next week because I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah.
Because no, I can say it now because let's not focus on women at all. I believe that was the biggest portion of it.
Okay.
A movement. A movement is always going because you have people, you have the numbers. So I believe that was the biggest portion of it. The rest of the stuff I think happened through the generations. Like for men, I think it happened through the generations. You know, um, like I said, we we took part in our own demise also.
We did.
So we're gonna focus on that. I have to figure that out. Come and I'm gonna have some videos on that one. We already saw a video. We saw We saw that idiot not know how many kids he had or what his kids ate.
Hey, he was just like, yeah, you know. Oh, my kids. Shoot, which one? You got little Tyrone. You got yeah.
I had a good time making them.
I had a good time making them babies.
Anyway, that's all I have. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, comment, like, subscribe, give us some feedback. Down there scrolling, go to Blackmailed Podcast. You're on YouTube, so just subscribe there. Or go to the Facebook page, Blackmailed Podcast. Hashtag you've been blackmailed. UBEEN blackmailed. Not the like blackmail like you, blackmailed. MALED. All right.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Go see. I try to post a lot of stuff and talk about a lot of stuff over there.
Very controversial.
Yeah, I guess it would be controversial if I'm saying something you don't hear. So, but yeah, go check us out. Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of it, y'all. Until next time. Friday. I'm gonna have blackmail discussions with 3 young ladies talking about relationships. We're gonna talk about interpersonal relationships and the black men, black women. Actually, I think the title is gonna be what y'all really want from a ninja. So I'm gonna do something like that, trying to see what women want from black men. So I'm gonna lend them my ear.
You can come in with the little DMX.
Yeah, I could do that in the background. Yeah, I could do that music in the background. Anyway, appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, see y'all next week.
Yeah.
And we out. Peace.